There are many ways in which our systems work against individualization. One of them very much is that their service models are based on groups of people being served together, when in fact there are alternatives that are more individualized. And even small groups can act to, if you like, to reduce everybody to a common denominator. And so groupings, service groupings are an example of a service delivery practice that's upheld then by funding systems that only fund those groupings. So if you wanted an individualized option and an individualized grouping, you might not get it. In a particular system doesn't do that. For instance, again, another practice is that what people do is create the buildings first, and then the service models have to fit the buildings. That typically means grouping people in the same building that have no particular reason to be served together. Another would be a failure really to say that the first choice from a policy point of view is the individualized option, and almost to create a burden upon the system and for service providers and for others to go for the individualized options first, and that should get priority. And it can also take another form at a policy level, and that is that there may be a need to convert older, dated congregate service models into individualized one, but without any kind of system to do that, any requirement to do that, any support of the capacity building needed to transform these dated models into more individualized ones. So again, this would be almost like a systemic capacity problem. People would say we're in favor of individualization, but it's too hard, or we can't do it with our current system, and then they don't then brainstorm a system that would get them from A to B in terms of increasing the level of individualization. And we know that to be true because we can look at other systems that have progressed individualization to a far greater extent than that system has. So in this sense, there's no way to have it both ways. You either have individualized options or you have some kind of compromise, usually congregate models. And so if you don't freeze, for instance, the growth of congregate models and begin to unravel them and replace them with individualized options, then in effect the congregate model is preempting individualization because you can't use the funding for individualization. It's locked into a system that's largely not individualized.